Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming Nicole Johnson to the show. Nicole is not only a dedicated volunteer host here at Community Update, but she's also a passionate advocate for her community. She has been deeply involved in numerous local initiatives, and now she's taking her commitment to the next level by announcing her candidacy for Councillor in District 4. Nicole is here to talk about her journey, her vision for the district, and of course, the impact she hopes to make. Nicole, I'm so excited to have you in the studio, in the show, to talk about all of this.
Thank you for having me. Promise this is a great opportunity to be able to share. It's almost like my job interview.
It's interesting.
Well, it is. It is. It literally is that, and I think that's the mindset that I have. Is that every opportunity, every person that I speak to,
Right.
that's my job interview,
Interesting.
right?
Absolutely.
And we get one shot at this,
Yeah.
so we might as well go for it. Go for the full measure.
Nicole, tell me, what really inspired you to take up this responsibility? Was there anything whatsoever, an issue or whatever that motivated you? I want to know. Do your constituent like to know what inspired you?
Well, I promise. I think that's a combined answer, I guess, if I can put it this way, because first of all, it was the request and encouragement of our community members within the district, all three communities, um, that kind of really stayed with me and
Right.
just kept pushing me. Every time I ran into somebody, they was like, I really hope that you're going to consider running. And so it stayed with me. So I had to really put that to some serious
Right.
thought.
Right.
And I did. But there's always that, questionable moment. It's like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Because public service is not easy,
It's
but
not.
it's very viable and doable.
Absolutely.
And I'm not afraid of hard work.
Right.
The other thing, I guess, is just hearing the frustration out of people's voices, and when we're in, just casual conversation, and then being very honest and speaking, and you have to like people to be able to do this job.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
also have to have empathy to
Empathy,
care about the things
right.
that they care about, right? And always finding a way to make things better.
Right.
Right? And it's for the betterment of a district, not just individual communities. So it's
Yeah.
about finding those ways to connect communities and creating opportunities, right, for economic development, public health and safety, all of these things that matter to these constituents.
Yeah.
Because even though they live in different communities, the commonalities is what is the thing that's really speaking to me.
Absolutely. And we'll get into all of that. But I'd like to know what really prepared you in terms of your day-to-day jobs or some of the volunteering jobs that you've done in the past that you feel had equipped you enough to be able to represent your community and indeed people of your district.
Well, I think my current job was when I was working at the public library as community specialist. What I've learned from that is that communication is key. It's absolutely key. We don't work as individuals there. We do individual jobs to get the bigger job done, but there's always that group setting, that team, that sense of team. And so I may lead something, but we also have to trickle that information back to the rest of the team because everybody needs to be on the same page.
Right.
And for me, I really enjoy working in team settings. I really love collaborating and partnering because there's a lot of people around that table who are smart and intelligent, and we can get the job done faster
Right.
and with everybody's perspective at that table
Yeah.
to get it done. So that's one thing. Also, what I've learned through my volunteerism with CMT, which is Community Mobilization Team with the HRM Public Safety Office, is the fact that our community needs us, right? They need us, or they need folks who's going to step up and bridge that gap, right? Advocate for them, speak for them, and ask those informed questions to make sure that things are getting done or should be getting done. And it's just having the desire to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And then working with the young people through the McPhee Creative Learning Center and hearing their voice. They're part of this community too. And I don't think that should always be shooed off or dismissed. Bring them into the conversation.
Right.
Feed them, sit with them, and hear what they have to say.
Right.
They are so powerful when they're speaking, and they can speak for themselves. They can, yeah. And there's countless of other jobs that I've done that has taught me about, accountability and doing these reports so to make sure that the information is there, and supporting the Nova Scotia Brotherhood Sisterhood through their health fair, being there to be a resource and a support has taught me a lot that, we need to put certain systems in place in order for it to be a success for everyone.
Absolutely. And you talk passionately about initiatives within your community, and you've been involved in a lot of them. And I'll be curious to know what has been those activities you've been involved in, and how has that shaped your understanding around your community, given the different demographics that you have around there, the seniors, the
Oh,
youth, and all
seniors! I
that.
love my
Yeah.
seniors. I love the seniors and the elders because they're
Yeah.
very wise, and they're straight shooters, if I could say.
Yeah.
They will tell you like it is,
Just the way it is.
and they're not hurting your feelings. You're just
Right.
being very honest, right? To prepare you, right? And I respect that. When they speak, I listen. So sitting with them with coffee and chat through the Preston Area Food Network, just whether it's doing relaxing things by doing their nails or sitting with them or doing crafts with them, or even bird watching. I've learned to appreciate bird watching because it's a sense of calm, right? And that's where they also need to be, knowing that their life state is secured and safe, and someone's helping them looking after their affairs, or making sure that the ditch is clear so there is no flooding. And those are the issues that we're having: flooding, water, sewer, ditches, all of those things that are issues to them because it sits with them. And then the other thing that I'm very proud to share is the Fruit of Our Labor youth program that was in partnership with NSCC and Akerley campus and the BGC Preston. My role there was to support that initiative, to curate the initiative, also, put in initially for it to be funded because that takes the stress off of those who can or cannot afford to be entering the programs.
Yeah.
We remove the barriers, remove the obstacles that prevent people from being involved.
Yeah.
And our youth need to have focused, concentrated attention to them to keep them work ready, right? Help them integrate into the workforce. Give them something to do, right? And some of this will steer away from behavior issues or vandalism because they're looking for things to do. And those are the things that I tend to pay attention to because I would hate to see any youth wrapped up in a system just because somebody hasn't invested time into them. So, we look for ways to create these opportunities for them.
Absolutely. The District 4, it's a district with a diverse community, people of different shades and colors.
Yes.
How do you plan to manage all of this, the diversity there? How do you plan to make sure that everyone is involved as a community and you're headed in one direction towards success? What are your plans around this?
Well, that's a great question because I don't sit in that role right now, but I am running for the job, and hopefully my mindset is to build a strong team that is very informed of the complete district. Also, what I am learning and reading on is the heritage and the culture. Cole Harbor Heritage Farm, it's the use of farmland, right? Preston's the same thing with farmland and their heritage and their culture. Those are common things. And to my understanding, what I've been told by these stories is that they used to work hand in hand, trading, selling, market, the marketplace, selling things at the market. And those are great things to launch off. How do we keep building those commonalities for the better of the community? Listening. That's the best thing you can do is actively listen. And my plan is to do that, to conversation, to be approachable and accessible, and respond to people when they're asking questions. If I don't know the answer, I don't know the answer, but we will find a way to get it. And we will find and also build those connections and relationship with levels of provincial government and federal government, because there's only things that the municipal government can do, and those are I want to stay in my lane when it comes to that. Absolutely. But also develop allies and colleagues that will also share the same value to support the concerns of municipal.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you've gone around your district and you know the different issues in these different areas. What are some of the biggest challenges they have in these different communities that you're going to be representing, and how do you plan to tackle them?
Well, public safety is a big thing, and that ties in with sidewalks, vandalism, safe neighborhoods, those kind of common broader issues. Distinctively in each community, they have their own issues around safety, right? Sometimes it's around crime and it not being solved right away. or working those details out. And then again, vandalism, and Kobe or Kobe, sorry, in Cole Harbor area, like,
Yeah.
just those B&Es and getting those dealt with. And then also there is the water and sewer,
Right.
flooding. That's a huge
Transportation is also one of those.
transportation, absolutely, because the presence is the lack of routes.
Right.
But in the city, in terms of the wait time,
The wait time,
right,
right.
and traffic, there's a lot of road construction going on right now, and it's holding people up.
Absolutely.
And so these are the things that need to be looked at as to how do we do and figure it out so that it's not impacting people's lives to the point where it's causing major frustration.
Yeah, and you have all of these as some of the challenges from the community. What are your own priorities? What do you think you'll be focusing on once elected as the councillor for the district?
Well, first of all, I have to hear all of the concerns and the pain points, because you can only do so much when you're running a campaign, but you can listen and still have to learn the job.
Right.
But I want to hear, I want to be informed, I want to, of course, there's going to be lots of reading. I do understand that, but to be quick to listen to the folks as opposed to jump in and to mess things up even more.
Yeah.
But also to build upon the things that I know Laura Lee has put in place in regards when she was in the seat as well, and just keep building upon the things that leadership has already done,
Right.
the things that are actually working. But the things that are not, then we have to take a closer look at, put them under the microscope and figure it out. The one thing too that is, and now that I'm thinking about it, is designated dog parks and
Okay.
green spaces.
Nice.
That's causing some division in the district, because people want to be able to do their recreation,
Right.
and people still want to walk their dogs,
Yeah.
right? So figure out how that works, and see how we bring it to fruition.
Right. We've seen over and over again lack of communication, which you did mention, engagement with community. Some leaders at different levels fail to do some of these things.
Yeah.
You're going to go in there. You've been a very strong advocate for your community, and this is the time to show up and show what you are capable of doing. How do you plan to engage with community, connecting them with the various levels of government? How exactly? Do you have any strategy in place?
Well, I mean, the one thing that we can do is be better at informing community, bringing them to the table. And sometimes that's hard. It's hard because people, the information not get trickled in as to where certain meetings are happening and when, and people miss out on that. But we have to be intentional, right? Not everybody's on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
That old drop it off at the door or put it in the mail, that still works.
Absolutely.
Right? And following back up with them, like, hey, are you aware that there's a meeting happening? It's really simple. It's communication. It's trying to find a way to make sure that people have the information at their disposal.
Yeah. All right. So talking about plans and strategies, what are your priority plans for your community if elected District 4 going forward, say 5 years plan, 10 years plan going forward?
These are really good questions. Again, it's a job interview, right? So 5-year plan, 10-year plan, again, it's understanding what the key issues are, and then hearing it out, and then figuring out a blueprint for that. Because right now, I don't have access to all of that. I have access to the people. I have access to conversation and really putting focus on hearing what they're saying. And then figuring out, again, go back to that blueprint, figuring out what to do next for the embedment of a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan.
Yeah. Nicole, you wear so many hats. You are here at community updates, volunteering and helping connect communities. You're also an advocate for your community, and you love other things. How do you turn or plan to balance this whole thing out once you become the councillor for your district?
Well, I have to pace myself, and realistically, we will probably, some things will have to be put in place to put, responsible people in the position that I've played, so I can pass that baton and to train people up to also do what I'm doing, so I can focus in on the district and doing the job as city council. Again, I go back to the team effort. I don't want to do this by myself. I'm stepping up to the job, but it's the community. We're working together to make this all work. So no, not burning out. Don't want to do that. Setting time for personal reflection and quiet time also lends itself to the job, right? Need to be clear-headed, clear-minded. And I want people to trust that I can make those decisions, I can make tough decisions, and I can take the time to really do a deep dive into, focusing on what's at hand and attacking the job.
Absolutely. So I'm sure you have some kind of campaign plan too.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
And what is it like, and how is your community expected to be part of that plan and bring in the support that you need?
Well, I have great volunteer staff, so thank you everyone for your hard work and dedication thus far. We are working really hard to make sure that we're at the doors canvassing. We're working really hard to make sure that the information is out there and reminding people to vote.
Right.
And one of the things that we're also trying to do is to make sure that people have access to the polls. So we will offer, a courtesy shuttle to get people
nice.
to and from.
That's
So
nice.
they do have to call in, or we have to figure out how to make sure they reach us, because sometimes people wait at home and they don't tell you need to be picked up. So we have to figure out a way to how to make sure that we don't miss anybody to get those individuals to the voting polls. We have a great team of political advisors and strategists on the team that I'm very happy to work with, because it's enlightening and it's invigorating. And I'm full of energy.
Yeah.
So I'm full of energy because I really enjoy this. I really enjoy the fact that I'm preparing to represent a district of people, a body of people, but also advocate and put pressure on and push for things that they care about and absolutely need.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like my time here in this district shouldn't look like it should have been 20 years ago.
I know.
Progression.
Right.
Moving forward. Future focus.
That's
right?
right.
Like we need to kind of, get to the business.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be feeling safe, supported, and empowered.
Yeah.
Everybody.
This thing going around, Nicole cares, Nicole cares. What is that about, really? I mean, I see that almost everywhere.
Nicole cares, period. Okay.
Yeah.
It's again, it talks about being committed, right? Being committed to community, being active in community, right? Showing up, being present, and putting my hands to the work as well, right? And not dictating or anything like that, but just being active, resilient.
Yeah.
Right? Just keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
I
going,
agree with
moving
you.
forward. And being engaged and being strong.
Strong, absolutely.
Right? And strong doesn't mean like as in terms of physical strength, but strong in terms of, standing on that which you believe. If the community says something, this is what the constituents are saying. You take that to City Hall and you advocate for that voice.
Absolutely. We're going to wrap up right now, but I'm sure you have a message for your constituents as they head to the polls.
Absolutely.
Very soon. What are what's the message there for them, and how are they expected to vote? I mean, a little bit of all of that, if you don't mind.
Well, what I would like to say is that we're here at a municipal election, and this is your time to exercise your right to vote. The young, the old, and everyone in between. On October 8th, you can get out in the advance polls, because that's important to get out in the advance polls and vote. That's online and by phone. All the information will be here for you, so please make sure that you have access to it. And then on October 15th, we have advanced polls in person. And that all will be listed on our Facebook page in terms of where the polls are. And then, of course, Election Day. That is October 19th. We would love to be able to make those arrangements to get you to and from the polls. Please call the headquarters, speak to one of our volunteer staff, and they would absolutely assist you. So again, exercise your right to vote. Vote for Nicole Johnson.
Vote for Nicole Johnson. What a better place to leave it there, Nicole. It's been my pleasure talking with you.
It's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you for coming to the show, indeed. Right, I've been talking with Nicole Johnson, who is running for Councillor in District 4 in the upcoming election. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates. Stay engaged with your local communities. And of course, until then, take care.